Hey everyone, today I want to share with you some insight about SoFi Invest. So whether you're looking at this platform as a potential for your next investing area, or you just kind of want to get an idea of other trading platforms that are out there, because there are quite a few nowadays, this is going to probably be the video for you, because we're going to actually break down the basics of SoFi Invest, as well as a little bit of experience that I've had in the very short time as I've been using this trading platform. Now, if this is actually your first video with us, my name is Dennis, and here on the channel, we love to talk about ways to make money, save money, and invest money, like in this video here today. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and join the wealth building community. And then also to make sure you stick around through the video, because I want to share with you guys how to actually get a $25 sign up bonus, so that way you can have one leg up when it comes to getting started on SoFi Invest. Now, I know for a lot of people, when you come to these videos, you want to get an idea of what the actual platform looks like. So I want to share with you some different screenshots from the actual app itself, so you can actually see what I'm actually seeing when I'm talking about these things. One of the big components, first and foremost, that we want to talk about is what are the things that you can actually invest in. Now, this is crucial because depending on what you can invest in will depend on whether you want to be part of this investing platform. SoFi Invest actually allows you to invest in individual stocks, stock bits, which is fractional shares, and we'll go into that more a little bit later, ETFs, and even SoFi ETFs. So they've actually created their own funds, and then also cryptocurrency as well, if that's something you are into. Now, one thing that I have to say when it comes to the SoFi Invest, just from getting started right away, the user face is ultra simple. Like, it is a very basic, probably even more simple than Robinhood, and maybe in the future I'll do like a comparison between the two, but the actual user interface is just really easy to get through. Now, as far as where everything is, of course, at the very front, you're going to have your actual account. Now, this is going to show a couple different important things when it comes to your actual investments. Now, it's going to tell you your net contributions, everything that you've actually put into this account, your total gains, and this is the market gains and also the dividends added together, which you will also see both of those. So you'll see the market gains, how your actual account has gone up, and then also your dividends that you've gained over time from all the different companies that are paying out dividends. Now, the other thing with your account, you're also going to get your buying power that you can see. So any money that's sitting in your account, whether that's money you transferred in or any of the dividends that got paid out, go into the buying power. You're of course going to see your investments, so all your investments that you have, as well as your activities. So anything that's going on, you're buying, selling, all your dividends that are coming in, that's going to be in your activity feed. And then you're going to have a search functionality, so you can search for things. Now, when it comes to the stock interface, because this of course is where you're going to go look and try to get information, this also is very simple. Now, of course, you're going to have the current price point at the very top of the actual page, as well as the chart. And then there's also going to be the day, the week, the month, 3 months, a year, and 5 years of performance for that given stock. And you can put your finger anywhere on the graph and it'll show you the date and then the actual price point at that given time. It'll also tell you whether you are an owner of one of these companies or if you are just wanting to follow potentially on one of these companies. So you can actually kind of build a watch list of sorts. And then of course you can hit buy or sell on the same page as well. So as you go lower into the stock interface, you're going to see quite a bit more information. You're actually going to see the value of the overall stock, how much you actually own of it altogether as a total value. You're going to see how many shares you have in this company as well. So if you are doing the stock bits, which is that fractional sharing, you're going to see, different numbers instead of whole numbers. Instead of 1, 2, 5, 10, or 20 shares, you can see 1.8, you can see, 5.7, whatever the amount is based off of the fractional amount that you actually own in that company. You're going to see the average cost that you are purchasing for that given share. So that way, if you want a dollar cost average, which means, if the stock is going up really high, you maybe hold back, or if it's below what your purchase average is, you can buy into it and lower your average total. If you wanted to do that, that really helps out and gives a lot of investors some good insight. And then you also have unrealized gains, as well as your total return since you've held onto the actual fund. Now, the bottom half of the actual stock interface is going to show you a couple more detailed information, such as the daily high and low, which is always a good thing to know. So if you're, wanting to buy that day, you'll also see the 52-week high and low. So you can get a great overview of the overall year and how it's performing, as well as what the stock opened with in that given day. Now, underneath that is going to be the news category, which actually helps kind of curate news that is dedicated to that individual stock, or in that industry in particular. So if you are wanting to kind of keep up with things, this is a great way to, read up on the news to see how that company or that industry is currently doing. So before we continue on, don't forget to clickety-clack that like button down below. It really does help out these videos and it goes a long way. Now, I do actually have a question for you guys. What platform are you using when it comes to investing? Do you have multiple investing platforms? I know I do. I have, of course, tested out quite a few, mainly because I love doing it. I love seeing what companies offer, but a lot of people have 2, 3, maybe even 4 different companies. Let me know in the comments down below. Which ones do you have, and put them in rank of the ones you love the most. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about stock bits. So I mentioned earlier that stock bits are essentially fractional shares. Now, this actually allows you to get into a company at a much easier price point than what the actual share is selling for. So a great example is with my favorite share, which is Tesla, where if I wanted to own a share of Tesla, it would cost me a couple $100s to own 1 share. Now, I'm not saying that I can't save up that money and just invest in Tesla with that 1 share, but what I can do with fractional shares is invest a small amount every single week or month or however often and be able to build up towards that 1 share. Now, with SoFi Invest, you do have to actually get started with $1 when it comes to stock bits. Anything after that, you can put in different increments, but you need to get started with at least $1. So let's talk a little bit about stock search, because of course, as you are building up a portfolio, you want to look for stocks. So you actually have the search tab, like we talked about earlier. Then you also have a popular tab. This is the things that are very popular, that are very, hip and cool right now when it comes to people investing in. You also got trending, which is a little different than popular. Popular is where a lot of people are focusing their time in. Trending is where it's kind of up and coming and things that are going to be kind of looking like they're, growing at a really good rate in a very short amount of time. And then you also have the SoFi ETFs, like we talked about earlier. SoFi actually has grouped up their own ETFs by themselves. Now, the thing I really want to mention when it comes to these SoFi ETFs is that they are very new, which means they don't have a lot of long-term history, which is really difficult when it comes to wanting to invest with a company because you don't know where they're going or where it's been. Now, ETFs aren't an individual company. They are a group of different companies. So you can look at it that way and be a little bit more confident. So with the SoFi Select 500, for example, right now it is $10.44 a share as of me recording this. Some of their top current holding companies are Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, and Google as well. So you definitely have a good group of companies in here, very low entry point, and then of course you can buy into it in fractional pieces, which makes it even that much easier to get into the overall fund. Again, just be cautious. Not a long-term history. It's really hard to gauge where it's going because you don't know where it's been. Now, we mentioned a little bit about the news and how it actually curates towards, the different stock as you are in that stock overall. But the nice thing is you can just go to the overall news section and be able to get a lot of great information. A lot of the news is from major publications, which is a really big thing to note because you want to make sure you're getting information from reputable sources because you don't want to get information about a stock or a company from somebody that's maybe just guessing all over the place. You want to make sure you have good resources, and SoFi Invest seems to do that. Now, on the main actual investing page, when we go down a little bit past your actual investments, you're going to see a couple other things. You're going to see an invite friends piece, which if you want to invite people or have other people join, you can click on that and share your links. You have a market comparison, so you can actually see how the bigger market is doing. The S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, all of that stuff is going to be right there at your fingertips, really easy to get a hold of. And then overall, your actual holdings, and underneath that, your watch list, things that you are wanting to follow or kind of just have an idea of how they're doing in the long term. That will all be right there for you. All right. So if you stuck around, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to share with you how to get that $25 sign up bonus. And this is super easy. All you got to do is click on the link in the show notes down below. So that way you can get that invite to get started on SoFi Invest. Now they typically have a minimum to get started with investing. So you can get that bonus, which is usually around $25. Just double check as you click through that link. And then that way you can get your $25 bonus on top of whatever you're investing with and get a really good head start with your investing future. So if you download SoFi Invest and really enjoy it, check out my video right over here about SoFi Money, which is essentially their no-fee, high-yield online checking and savings account. This video right here will go over a lot of great details.